You're listening to Heart with Saima, the podcast show for people searching for that courageous person within us who wants to be inspired by listening to stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I'm Saima Dillon, your host. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here. Without waiting anymore, let's dive right in. My guest today is Tim. I'm going to bring Tim on and I will let him do his own introduction. But Tim is a leukemia survivor, and his journey as he was diagnosed and then going through the trials and tribulations of being diagnosed with leukemia, what he went through, and then his journey on how he decided that he's going to use himself to showcase as someone courageous and put himself out there to help other people who are going through that journey and to help them. So I'm going to bring Tim on here. Hey, Tim, good evening.
Hi, I'm sending some love your way.
I see that. Thank you. When I grab that, and there is never enough love that you can get. So,
Yes.
how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's been a great day, lots of great connecting with people, and I'm really excited to be here today. So thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's my honor and a privilege to have you here on board. Tim, we connected through LinkedIn and we connected through Nancy. And when I asked you for an introduction, just right there in your introduction, you said that it was Nancy was one of the people whose journey, whose courage and her journey, and showcasing what she went through, as well as Tim Sullivan, him talking about his journey. They are the ones who inspired you into becoming bold and more courageous to just put yourself out there and to use your own experience of what you have gone through to help other people in their journey.
Yes.
How was
Yeah.
that?
So what happened was in June, I saw this video by Steve Sullivan, who's amazing. He's a 35 year acute leukemia survivor. And it was on National Cancer Survivor Day, and he created this video sharing his story with leukemia. And in the meantime, I had been creating radiating real posts. Nancy Barrows created the Radiating Real movement, where she encourages people to show up, take off their mask, and just show up as they are in the moment.
Yeah.
You don't have to be all polished and shiny as many people do on social media, but just show up as you are. And then
Yeah.
in the meantime, I was invited by Jenny Gold, who has a show called Podcast Not Podcast, where she brings on people and talks about autoimmune diseases usually. So all of these things aligned in June. I was diagnosed in 2008 at 26 years old with chronic myeloid leukemia after not having any medical problems before that. And so all these things came together. I've always felt kind of, I don't know if it's guilt, but because I've never been seriously ill through my leukemia journey. I was in the hospital for about a week after going to my primary care physician. I had some purple blotches on my legs. They did some blood work and they said, you need to go 2 hours to the hospital right away. And those 2 hours are probably the longest 2 hours of my life because I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know if it was going to affect my life in a significant way, whether my life would be shortened, whether, if it would affect me having a family or anything like that. So I'm so grateful that all these things came together in June. And I just thought that all these things were happening for a reason, that it was time to finally share my story after in December, I'll be celebrating 15 years living with chronic leukemia.
So 26 years old. I mean,
Yes.
now when my daughter is 20 and my nieces, nephews, they are in that age bracket. And when I look at them and I'm like, they're just so young. And I'm like, they're 26, 27, 28. But they just are so young, from
Yeah.
standing. And that at that age, for you to get diagnosed, your whether it's your teens or it's your 20s, to get diagnosed with something like leukemia, that is just major life altering, physically, emotionally, psychologically, right, mentally. I mean, it has such a drastic impact. It's like getting hit in, mind, body, soul, every direction, and then trying to accept it. How did you find the courage to how did you persevere?
Well, I have a very supportive family, my mom and my dad and my sister, and an extended family and friends. My mom actually is a retired public health nurse, so she had actually worked at the hospital that I was going to and worked in quality assurance, checking the work of all the doctors. So I had a great support system. Like I said, those 2 hours were the longest 2 hours of my life. But I'm grateful because so what happened was that I take daily oral chemo medication. And I've been doing that ever since I was diagnosed, and I don't have any side effects. I've never had any side effects. I have had to change the medications that I take a few times because over time, sometimes your body becomes immune to some of the medications. But I'm super grateful that I haven't been severely ill or anything like that during the 15 years.
So how did you overcome that initial phase? How Where you figured that you're going through something catastrophic and you need to get a grip on it, so that it doesn't take over you. Instead, you grab the bull by the horn and kind of, just ride out the storm.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had a lot of support. I mean, when you're diagnosed with cancer, it kind of puts you in a different mindset in
Yeah.
that you don't know. I have chronic leukemia, so I'm going to have it for the rest of my life. I have to take really expensive medication if I didn't have insurance. I mean, it's probably over $10,000 a month if I didn't have
Wow.
insurance. So that's something to think about is the cost. Luckily, there are organizations like the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society that offer some financial funding, as well as some of the pharmaceutical companies and other programs that help. But it's still a lot of money if you don't have insurance.
So, Tim, it seems like even when I had Nancy on the show, and now you're here,
Yeah.
I think one of the most essential things it seems like that you guys have in common is your support system.
Yes.
She had when she went through her trauma, her biggest thing was her support system. She had parents around her who were absolutely supportive, and it seems like it's the same thing with you. You had a strong support system which helped carry you through the most difficult aspects of that journey.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I don't know what I would have if I didn't have supportive family. I don't know what I would have done. Also, side note, when I was first diagnosed, I wasn't married to my wife. Right now I have a wife. We've been married for Joy. We've been married for 11 years, and we have two kids, Megan, who's 10, and Caitlin, who's 7. And when this all started, I had just started dating Joy a few months after I was diagnosed. And I didn't know how to deal with that. Like, do I tell her right away? Do I wait and see what happens? So I didn't tell her right away. So she found a appointment slip for the doctor's office, and it said oncology on it. So she asked me about it, and then I explained, and my wife Joy is one of the most kind and patient people that I know, and I'm so grateful that we ended up getting married and having our beautiful children, and she's always so supportive.
So you said you were diagnosed in 2007, right? No,
2008.
2008. So when did you met her a few months later? So when did you get married?
11 years ago in May.
So that is maybe like after three or 4 years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I think what the universe did was it gave you this huge challenge to deal with, but on the other side, it gave you, this strong companion who walked through all your difficult moments right there with you.
Yeah, that's so true. She's amazing. Amazing, very loving, just like this. And yeah, very grateful. Very grateful she's my wife.
Absolutely wonderful. So now you have two kids, and um, what is your what has been your biggest high in life?
My biggest high in life.
Yes.
Well, I mean, my biggest high in life is my family, for sure. But the other thing I would say is sharing my story about leukemia, and because it's resulted in so many things that I didn't expect, such as connecting with other leukemia survivors, um, having people reach out. When I started creating this content and telling my story on different live shows, and thanks again for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Of
I
course.
first shared it on Jenny Gold's show, and then I shared it on Nancy Barrow's show. And shout out to Nancy. Nancy is here along with Brian Schulman and lots of other people. I appreciate all of you for being here. Yeah.
So I think as you go through life, right? Life you reach a point where you're like, if so, for example, if you are given a chance to go back and change one thing about your life, what would that be?
That's a really good question. I mean, I don't think I would change anything. I'm so grateful for where I'm at in terms of, having Joy as my wife, having our children. After COVID started, I'm working entirely live streaming now, helping people create their own live shows that are impact focused and virtual events, and as well as producing shows and events as well. And I'm just really happy in my life right now. I've also made amazing friends through joining the Radiating Real movement. Well, Nancy's an amazing friend, Brian, and so many of the people that are in the comments. Also, Kara Ulker, she came on Shout Out Saturday one day, and she put in StreamYard, next to her name, she put Kara Ulker, Tim's bestie. She just decided we were going to be besties. So now we've been besties for 4 months, at least, June. And we show up and support each other almost every day. And
I think that's just the people who are not on LinkedIn. They don't realize that that's the power of LinkedIn. That LinkedIn is just very different, and it's definitely evolved over time as well. And it's just I have my strength on Facebook, and I've been working on LinkedIn. We have just been consistent, just
Yes.
posting. And for myself, uh, I have not really looked at, I don't look at the numbers or who's watching or not. It's just been, just keep doing it, just keep doing
Yeah.
it. And that's what I have been doing, because it's impacted my life. It's been changing my life. And I think that's what the kind of people who cross your path, and just meeting amazing, wonderful people who are out there, sharing their stories and showing their vulnerability, and showing and people don't realize how that just touches lives, right?
That's so true. And LinkedIn is such a positive, uplifting, encouraging community, at least the people that I interact with on LinkedIn, such as yourself.
And it's changed, right? It's LinkedIn has evolved. It used to be
Yeah.
very uptight and rigid, when it was all very
Yeah.
business based, right, and very professional. But I think since Microsoft bought it, it's brought
Mm.
in this softer touch. And so, Tim, if you were given 3 wishes, what would those 3 wishes be?
3
Let me let,
wishes.
let me put you on the spot.
Oh my gosh, 3 wishes. I mean, um I would really love to create a nonprofit organization focused around cancer and survivors, and encouraging them to use their voice and share their stories,
Yeah.
and work with them on that and provide a platform for that. And I would love to do something like that. A second wish, a second wish would just be to travel the world. I haven't traveled many places. I've lived in a bunch of states in the United States, and I've been to Estonia through a Global Teens YMCA program a long time ago, and Stockholm, Sweden for a day. But I would love to travel more. And third wish is that I don't know. There's so many homeless people in the world. I wish I could help somehow to, to solve that problem.
Well, I hope all your 3 wishes come true.
Oh, thank you.
So now you're focused on live streaming and doing virtual shows, and do you feel, you said that you're in a really happy place right now? Do
Yeah,
you feel that everything in life happens for a reason?
I do. Absolutely. Even through a pandemic, I do. Yes. I don't
Because
know if I've always felt that way, but
yeah.
I do now. Yeah.
And well, one thing I was so I we have been talking, and I was telling you that I was put in Facebook jail, right? I couldn't do my live for 2 weeks on
Yes.
Facebook,
Yes.
and because I have my intro and my outro, and I have 2 different music which is being
Yeah.
used. And one, for the intro, I've actually purchased it myself for my brand, and the outro is something created by a company, and it's royalty free. But Facebook, blocked me for 2 weeks, and so
Yeah.
for 2 weeks, 1 week, I just canceled the shows because I was like, I'm not sure what's going on. And then the week prior, when this actually happened, when I was going live, and Facebook just kicked me out. So we streamed, but we were not on Facebook. And I stream on 4 different places on Facebook. So it's a big platform for me. So I'm like, okay. So today it was like, okay, the past 2 3 days, it was like, okay, I have no clue when Facebook is going to let me out of it, right?
Yes.
So this morning I was like, you know what? There's this French proverb which says "c'est la vie," and it just means, whatever will be, will be. So I messaged my assistant. I was like, you know what? This is my new motto in life. It's like "c'est la vie," and whatever will be, and we are not going to worry about it. If we stream to Facebook, we stream. If we don't, we just continue streaming on YouTube and LinkedIn. And
Yes.
I was like, right after I did that, but I was like, I don't care. I started preparing my stream, and I had a test which I had prepared. And obviously it had not worked before. So I was like, okay, let me check on this, just see if it works. And I went live. I was just lying in bed and just hitting that live. And I was like, I went live. Okay, I have to delete it because I'm not ready to do anything, but it worked. So basically, the purpose behind that story is just literally saying that I think in life, when you learn to just let go and just accept that different things, different challenges, they come our way, either to steer us in a different direction or change our course or teach us lessons, or we're supposed to, because as individuals, as humans, we are actually supposed to continuously evolve in life and not stay in the same place, not because that just makes you stagnant. And I think once you do that, that feeling right there is just such a powerful feeling, because you are like, you know what, whatever will be, will be.
Yeah. Yeah. A few months ago, before the summer, or when the summer was starting, I was feeling really stuck, just in general, just stuck with my business, with everything. And I just felt like I was kind of like floating around, and, I was going through the motions, but nothing much was really happening. And then Nancy created the Radiating Real movement, and I started creating this content that was more vulnerable, that was more from a personal perspective, about my leukemia story. I did a post on reflections on 43 years of life. And I started, one of the first bullet points in that, it was basically a list of all the things I'm grateful for after 43 years of life. And the first thing I put in there was that I have a sister who passed away when she was 7 from a brain aneurysm.
Oh, wow.
And it was very unexpected. Bless you. And the other day I did a post on how my daughter, Kaylin, who's now 7, we gave her the middle name Mary, my sister who passed away. And my sister Mary passed away when she was 7 years old. So this year really hit hard for me. And I hadn't been to the cemetery in a while. And the other day, after I wrote that post, a few days later, I got in the car and I went to the cemetery, and I just spent time with her, and I don't know if any of that would have happened unless I, without sharing this kind of content. Like, I find that sharing this kind of content is also even like therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
Sharing stories like that. And then when people respond, I get so many messages and comments of prayers and love, and, people sharing stories of, similar coincidences. Those are the kind of stories that I find resonate the most on LinkedIn, which is kind of ironic because a lot of people still consider it the, professional social network.
Yeah.
But first, we're all humans. We're all people that connect on that level, right, Saima?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think transformation comes with truth. So I think that is right there extremely powerful. The moment you come to terms with the fact that, you know what, I'm going to embrace my truth, whatever that is, however difficult that truth is, but I'm going to embrace it and I'm going to put it out there. I think your life starts changing. And for me, I've always been, I mean, I have always been vocal and I've always been bold. I've never felt shy about sharing, but obviously the setting has to be right for you to pour your heart out or to put it out
Yeah.
there. But I think when I started doing my shows last year, when I started streaming, I always tell people that my podcast has been life changing for me because my podcast
Mm.
gave me that. I was just lost. I was trying to heal. I was trying to find ways. We had taken business hits and
Yeah.
different things had happened in my life, just different challenges. And I just was trying to search for answers and I was trying to change. I was working on changing my own energy. And I think for me, doing my podcast, this, 1 hour a week or 2 hours a week, because I've started a podcast on Wednesdays as well, where I
Oh,
stream from my women empowerment group. And I bring in women, and it's like a panel like you do with Nancy and Brian, and
yeah.
we sit there and we talk about women empowerment, and we bring a guest on, and share those stories. And I so for me, this has just been life changing. Just my truth, putting my truth out there, and uh, watching that transformation happen with that truth. And that's literally, what I've witnessed over this past year and a half since I've been streaming, is just my own transformation, just finding my own courage, and then giving that courage. Just meeting people in different places who come up and they're like, we watch your show, or keep doing what you're doing. You're changing lives. And my thing has always been that even if we can change just one life, right? Just one
Yeah.
person, if someone is having a bad day and they just watch something and it just changes their mindset, or it gives them courage, or it makes them feel that, hey, I'm not alone. There are other
Yeah.
people. Just that right there, right? That makes it just worth it. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then when you start sharing your story, you're encouraging more people to share their story as well. I've had
yeah.
people reach out saying that as well. Um, yeah, it's like a ripple effect.
It absolutely is. You just give, you know, when you're born, I feel each individual, each human being in this world is very distinct. And every life, it matters. Every individual matters. You've come into this earth for a purpose and for a reason. And so you matter. And if you are if you are there and you matter, but as we are growing up, we become this amalgamation, this byproduct of everyone who's around us, our parents' expectations, our siblings, our, the tendency to conform, to be that chameleon, to blend in with the different surroundings, so that, adaptation.
Yeah.
And by the time you keep adapting and adapting and adapting, and then you reach this point where you're like, who am I? You know, I mean, this person that I see in front of me, I don't really resonate with that person. And that's when you're like, okay, then you're like this onion, and you're peeling these, the different layers to get to find that person that that you truly identify with, and that person who is you. And that's when you discover you. And and then your life journey actually changes, because then you start writing your own story.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. One thing that I've been doing, Saima, is that I've been getting on Zoom calls with people that show up for live shows in the comments, especially that show up, week after week after week, and just to build relationships with them. When you do a live show, and if a lot of people show up, it's really amazing. But how much do you really know? How much do you really know about those people, right? Or even like when you attend a virtual event, like I attended one, the Hope and Kindness rally that Andrea Sanchez puts on, and I connected with someone that attended when the session I was speaking, and I spoke to her today, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know too much about her except what was on her LinkedIn profile,
Yeah.
and we so connected with each other. We both believe strongly in building community and building relationships and storytelling and all these things, right? So I think there's such a strong like building relationships is so important, right?
It is. I think, the different colors of our skin, coming from different parts of the world, coming from different religions. I think, somewhere it's instilled in us that there are all these different sects, right? It's
Right.
groupings. But I think what my live streaming has taught me is that those groups only exist because we have created them.
Mm,
Otherwise, even though the color of the skin is different, but
yeah.
we are actually we have so much in common
Right.
versus being different from each other. Our problems
Yes.
are so similar. Our, the core of a human soul, right? We all have the basic, the core, the heart and the mind and the functionalities. It's all like
Yeah.
so similar. We all have those emotions of love and emotions of, disappointments, and the different emotions, right? And
Yeah.
we're all going through so many different things.
That's so true. And I think one of the really amazing things that have happened with the pandemic is that, I don't know about you, Simon, but I've connected with so many more people farther away from me,
Yeah.
in other countries, in other states, in other,
Yeah.
which I didn't do as much in the past. What's your experience been like with that?
Uh, exactly. I mean, just like yours, just connecting with people from all over the world, and just all coming to that realization that we are just so alike than different.
Yeah.
All these segregations are created. I'm originally from Pakistan, And, even growing up in this country, which is a Muslim majority, but still having those smaller sects of the religion, and it's all like, okay, there are, so again, those groupings, right? Growing up, and you're in this group, and there's this and there's this, because somehow you are supposed to be identified by your religion. But I
Right.
think all the religions also, the core is the same. And at the end of the day, no matter what life sends your way, the choice is yours. What you want to take from it and what you choose not to. You know,
Right.
not a believer of an eye for an eye. I choose to walk away. I feel that, if there's something negative, I it's my choice, and I choose to walk away from it because I don't want to be consumed with that negative energy. So
Yeah.
it's like, if you're fighting in a puddle, it's not just one person who's going to get dirty in there. Both
Right.
people, whoever fights in that puddle, will get dirty. So I feel that we all have choices. The question is, what do you choose? So for myself, I choose my peace of mind, and there is nothing in this world which is more important to me than my peace of mind.
Mm. Yes.
So Tim, where do you think your journey is taking you? Do you have plans where to take your production, or what your expectations are for the next phase of it? What is it that you would like for life to send your way?
So I'm actually working on something that I can't announce yet,
Okay.
but is actively being created.
Okay.
Um, and one area that I really want to focus on um, is somehow working with, I kind of alluded to this before, was working with cancer survivors on, on in some way helping them share their story and encouraging them to, and things like that. That's something in addition to uh, what is in the works. But I really feel like this whole radiating real movement, like, it's totally changed everything for me.
Yeah.
You know, just I've connected with so many amazing human beings. And it's just been like, it was totally unexpected. I had no idea that I would be doing it. I definitely didn't use my voice as much before. I mean, I did use it. I have the Tim and Jim show, and I created social media content before, but it was mostly all around business. It was, like marketing tips or live streaming tips, or, like basically all the stuff that you can go to YouTube for, or Google, or, you know, but my business is actually growing. And I think a big part of that is because I'm sharing
Yeah.
personal content. And I have almost created no business posts since June. I think I've created one that was, I think it was like 5 live streaming tips. I don't even remember what it was.
Yeah.
And I just find so much more fulfillment myself in creating those kind of posts over business related posts. I love being on live shows. I love planning live shows. I love helping people, do that and produce. But writing business content just is not exciting to me anymore. I'd much rather write something that I'm um, more passionate about, something that I can inspire people with, um, share more personal stories that will connect with other people that
Yeah.
have been in similar situations, or maybe will be in the future.
I completely can relate to that because um, when I started my live streaming, it was supposed to be more kind of, you know, for real estate, but I
Yes.
just followed my passion from you know from the beginning, and it's nothing to do, it's there's no talk about real estate. It's
Yeah.
just about touching lives and um, about growth and how to evolve and how to change my own life, change my own journey, you know soul searching, food for the soul. uh,
Yeah.
and and that's what the journey has been all about. Tim, before we end the show, what would you like to share with the audience?
First of all, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for showing up to support Saima, to support myself. I really appreciate it. There's so many of you who are here, Inger and Alex and Kenny D and Ashok and so many people, Jenny Gold, Nancy Barrows, all the people that are here. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And the other thing I would say is share more personal aspects of your life. You don't have to share about your cancer story. People relate to other people on, maybe you're a big fan of a certain sports team. Maybe you go to a sports game and you take a selfie at a sports game and you share a story about what happened at the game, something like that. Maybe you love coffee like I love coffee and you take selfies at Dunkin' Donuts or wherever your preferred coffee place is, and you share a story about when you were in Dunkin' Donuts and you met this person and you connected with this person and you talked about these things. And um, another thing that I share a lot about is my family, you know, and so those are just some ideas to get you started on sharing more personal aspects of your lives that will help you connect with other people on a more personal level. Um, yeah, so just thank you. And thank you, Saima. This has been amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Nancy comes on my show. Nancy and Ashok, they come on first Tuesday of every month.
Yes.
um, it's something I totally cherish, learning so much from both of them. And um, so yes, like you said, LinkedIn has brought all these amazing people in my life, and who just enrich my life and help me evolve and help me grow into a better person. um, that's what I hope. One day I can. I mean, I'm still searching. I think I would love to be on Netflix. I don't know in what capacity, but that's
Oh,
what I aspire for one day.
yes.
So we
There you go.
yes, we
That
put it
would be
out into
amazing.
the universe and we manifest it, and for some opportunity to come. And so yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
that's
see.
amazing. And I see Alex Chambers is in the comments. He recently shared his story. He was an orphan, and so he shared his personal story about that on LinkedIn recently. And he comes on What's Good Wednesday and Shout Out Saturday quite
Yeah.
often, almost every time. And his daughter Carter, who we love, she's adorable.
No, we
Um,
appreciate all these people because I see 71 or and more comments all coming through, and so we
yeah,
appreciate everyone's support a
for
whole lot.
sure. Yeah, Jenny Gold is here. She's the one that I shared my leukemia story for the first time on her show.
Yeah,
So appreciate you, Jenny. And
Jenny,
Brian.
Alex, Brian, just lots of Kenneth, Gabriel. Gabriel, I always thank you, Gabriel. I always tell Gabriel that Gabriel is the one. When I started my live streaming, I would send Gabriel messages I would be like, okay, which mic should I buy? Okay,
Ah,
how to do this? How do I do that? Which lights do you use? And Gabriel was always just wonderful, and he would just answer all my questions. Nancy, I missed
yeah.
seeing you this week. I had to cancel my show with Nancy this week
Oh
of
no.
because my Facebook, my live streaming.
Right.
No, I had internet outage, so last minute I had to cancel my show with
Oh,
Nancy because
right. Oh, I remember that now.
yes, my
Yes.
internet went out, and I'm like, okay, we're attracting some negative vibes going on here. Internet going out, Facebook putting me in jail. But
Yeah.
since the moment I said it will be what it will be, or whatever that was, so I think everything just changed because it
Yeah.
will be whatever it will be. So it's all good. No matter what happens, we will keep moving forward.
That's
So,
it.
on that note, Tim, I do appreciate you coming forward. I'm going to remove you
Thank
from the
you.
stream, and I'm going to.
Thank you.
You're most welcome, and I'm just going to end the show. Oops, wrong one. Okay. So, all right. So that was fun. Love this time that I spent getting to know different people who come on my show, and they always enrich me, they teach me, they leave me a better person. So, thank you all for taking the time out of your day to be here. And if the show inspires you, and you feel it can touch someone, then do join, do share it. And your comments, your likes, your subscribing on my YouTube, it all just helps us know that we are doing something right, and we are hopefully changing lives. So if you would like to join my email list, just email me at vip@simadillon.com, and I will be so grateful. So we will see you tomorrow. We stream our Women of Noor, my women empowerment group, uh, the show with my panel. I'm going to have Kalpana. There's Nida who's going to be there tomorrow. So I hope you all can join us. So have a wonderful evening, everyone. And thank you for being here. I'm not using my intro outro anymore because I don't know how Facebook will respond, even though it's all royalty. I have purchased the music. So have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you for